of the Iowa State Cyclones. Stay tuned as our Cyclones take on the 7th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners in Big 8 basketball.
Tonight, it's Big 8 basketball action at its best. The Oklahoma Sooners and the Iowa State Cyclones. Live from Hilton Coliseum, Ames, Iowa. Tonight's game brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Hilton Coliseum, a magnificent building on the campus of Iowa State University in Ames. And as we come inside, a sellout crowd on hand here at Hilton Coliseum as tonight the Oklahoma Sooners, ranked in the top 10 in both wire service polls, take on the Cyclones of Iowa State. Pleasant good evening, everybody. Jay Randolph to call the play, and alongside, working tonight in his hometown, Gary Thompson, to analyze the action. And Gary, let's have you profile a couple of the players we'll be watching.
Well, normally you think of Oklahoma and Iowa State, you think of Wayman, Tisdale, and Barry Stevens, but two of the kids that I think may be very important in tonight's ball game will be these two young men. Tim McCalister, last year at the Big 8 Newcomer of the Year, had knee surgery early this year, has had some trouble shooting the basketball. With Iowa State jamming Tisdale, I think it's going to be important for him to hit the outside shot. For Iowa State, Jeff Greer, one of Johnny Orr's super freshmen, had an excellent defensive basketball game against Missouri, as you see there last Saturday. It's going to be his job to confront Tisdale inside. Not to check him thoroughly, but limit him to the number of times that Tisdale can see the ball inside, getting help from his teammates.
Oklahoma, coached by Billy Tubbs, born in St. Louis, grew up down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What a job he has done. The Oklahoma Sooners are 2-0 in the young Big 8 race under Coach Tubbs. And, of course, the Cyclones, they went on the road and come off a very fine victory for Johnny Orr last Saturday afternoon at Missouri. And Johnny Orr has turned them on here in Ames, Iowa, and he's ready to roll tonight. All right, that sets the scene. Back with the starting lineups right after this. A record of 13-5, 1-1 in conference play. The Sooners are 13-4, 2-0 in conference play. The Sooners, Gary, going to make some changes in the starting lineup. They've got a few people who are bothered by the flu. Wayman Tisdale will not start here tonight. Let's go to the PA announcer and get the starting lineups for you. Here is Gary Wade.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hilton Coliseum for tonight's game between the Iowa State Cyclones and
we'll go along
Sooners
with Gary
of
Wade as he introduces the starters for you, and you'll see the changes for Oklahoma.
For the visiting Sooners, at forward, a 6'6" junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, number 25, Anthony Bowie.
Anthony Bowie starting at forward.
At forward, a 6'5" sophomore from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, number 30, Darryl Kennedy.
Darryl Kennedy, he's been on a tear of late.
At center, a 6'7" sophomore from Kansas City, Kansas, number 55, David Johnson.
The center will be David Johnson, the big guy in the middle.
At one guard for Oklahoma, a 5'11" junior from Washington, D.C., number 11, Linwood Davis.
Linwood Davis getting the starting shot.
And at the other guard, a 6'7" sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 40, Chuck Watson.
And finally, Chuck Watson rounding out the starting five. There's Billy Tubbs.
And now let's meet the starting lineup for your Iowa State Cyclones. At forward, a 6'5" senior from Flint, Michigan, number 35, Barry Stevens.
Stevens, the big gun.
At forward, a 6'5" freshman from Flint, Michigan, number 44, Jeff Greer. At center, a 6'9" sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, number 33, Sam Hill. At one guard, a 6'3.5" freshman from Jackson, Michigan, number 3, Gary Thompkins. And the other guard, a 6'3" junior from LaGrange, Illinois, Jeff Hornacek.
There's the starting lineup for the Cyclones, and there is 57-year-old Johnny Orr. So we're all set. This big crowd of more than 14,000 ready with you. We'll be back to tip it off right after this from your local station. There's the series record. This the 143rd meeting. Oklahoma leading at 81-61. There are the starting lineups. Quite a surprise for the Sooners. And it'll be Watson to jump against Sam Hill. The Cyclones in their white uniforms and the Sooners in red. Hill, number 33, to go up against Watson, number 40. We're underway. Hope you'll enjoy it wherever you are.
They tell me Billy Dubs changed his lineup about 3 times before finally settling because of this flu problem. I talked with McCalister right before starting. He said he felt a little weak and achy, but thought he'd be ready to play. And Wayman told me he felt pretty good.
We watched Tisdale loosen up, and he seemed to be all right, but they're sitting him out in the early going. This is Hornacek, a fine guard for the Cyclones, the floor leader. Hornacek, number 14. Back out front, Grayer, along with Thompkins, and now to Stevens. Stevens, the gunner. And a little stutter step and a walk in the first turnover of the game. Cyclones coming off a very big win at Missouri, 71-64. After losing to Kansas 76-72. First home game of Big 8 play for the Cyclones, and they're jammed in here at Hilton tonight. Johnson takes the jumper, and he hits it. Johnson with that right leg bandaged up.
That's something the Oklahoma staff has been working with Johnson, is take that ball square up to the basket instead of just turning and shooting. Did an excellent job that time, and he's going to be a key for him if he hits the outside shot.
Pass goes into Hornacek, batted away, and a foul. A foul will go against Linwood Davis. That is his first, and team foul number 1.
Davis making his second start of the year, and remember, it was a week ago when he came on against Missouri and just had a great game off the bench.
Hornacek from LaGrange, Illinois, triggers it in. This is Sam Hill, back out front to Stevens. Iowa State leads here in Ames at Hilton in this series, 8-5. Shot along the baseline, missed. And coming back, Johnson to Davis. Down it comes to Bowie. Davis gets it over to Kennedy. He's played brilliantly of late. Johnson in underneath, put it up, partially blocked. Tipped outside, Davis controls. Oklahoma's won 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two clubs. Oklahoma averaging 93.3. Kennedy's shot won't go. Bowie high into the air, out to Davis from 20. He fires it. Kennedy rebounds underneath and scores.
Oklahoma, the top rebounding club in the Big 8 Conference. They've got a 9-rebound advantage on rebound margin. You saw a reason there 3 times, and that's something that Iowa State will not be able to let happen and win this basketball game.
The Sooners rebounding at a 44.8 clip. Foul underneath. And the foul is on Johnson. That'd be his first, and team foul number 2. A blocking foul against Johnson. The Cyclones averaging 79.4. Their opponents 66.1. The Sooners, as I said, 93.3. Their opponents 72.9. Hornacek out deep to Thompkins. Back to Hornacek, takes the jumper from 18, comes up short. Rebound Bowie. Up to now, Oklahoma doing an excellent job on the boards. Kennedy back outside, Bowie from 25. And it is 6-0 Oklahoma.
Well, that's something that I think people in the Big 8 didn't expect as much out of Bowie, was to shoot that outside shot, but he's shooting 51.6% from the field. And when I've seen him, he has shown that he can hit that 17 to 20-foot shot.
He came out of Seminole Junior College.
He really gives them a plus, Jay. In a lineup like tonight where they're patchwork, he can play big, small guard, or go to a small forward.
Cyclones a little tight in the early going, Gary.
Well, you know, without Wayman Tisdale starting, you wonder about the psychology coming in now. Does it help Oklahoma, the loss of Tisdale, inspire their other players to play hard? What does it do to Iowa State? Is there a little bit of letdown? I don't think there should be for Iowa State any kind of letdown, even though Tisdale's not in the game. They're playing for a big basketball game at home, and it's a game that means a lot to them to compete for the championship this year.
Another jumper by Bowie. This one doesn't go. the Cyclones. They've turned it over twice. Driving in is Grayer. He scores, and a foul is called. So the Cyclones are on the board. Nice pass down to Grayer, and he took it in there. We'll look at it again.
Watch him come in here. Power, 6'5", 190-pound forward. Freshman for Iowa State. Does a great job coming up there. Defensive man trying to back away. Good pass by Stevens, who comes off a career high of 5 assists against Missouri. And Grayer really going strong. Good concentration on the basket.
Watson missing the free throw, and scoring is Barry Stevens. So all of a sudden it's 6-4. That last foul was charged to Chuck Watson of Oklahoma. 16:20 to play, first half.
Iowa State's been man for man.
Ball tipped by Hill. Turnover to Oklahoma. Hornacek brings it down for the Cyclones. Stolen away by Linwood Davis. And Davis drives and scores.
Good pick by Linwood Davis. Doesn't happen that very often against Jeff Hornacek. Handles the ball very well, but Linwood Davis, a quick kid. Good pressure on him. He made the steal and 2 easy points.
8-4, Oklahoma. Sam Hill in underneath, and a foul is called against Watson as he banged in under there and committed the foul against Jeff Grayer. The second on Watson. 4th team foul against Oklahoma.
Talking about Watson making the first start of his college career right here. Was an all-stater in Indiana, playing at Warren Central at Indianapolis.
You see Wayman Tisdale getting set to come into the game. We have a timeout. 15 minutes and 54 seconds left to play, first half here at Ames, Iowa. We'll come back for more of this Big 8 action from Hilton Coliseum right after these messages. Oklahoma 7th in the UPI poll, 9th in the AP. They've committed 4 team fouls here in the early going. Iowa State has not been charged with a foul yet. Both clubs shooting 50% from the field in the early going, and Oklahoma out rebounding the Cyclones 5-2.
We saw that stat on the 15-game Big 8 winning streak for Oklahoma. The last loss they had was last year in the here in Hilton Coliseum, the opening Big 8 game.
That's right, the last conference loss to the Cyclones. Hornacek from 25. Hornacek averaging 12 a game.
Probably one of the most underrated players, I feel, in the Big 8 conference, Jeff Hornacek.
Kennedy stops and puts it up from about 8 feet. It wouldn't go, and Hornacek rebounds, gets it down to Stevens. Stevens takes it in. Oh, he made a good move. Let's see if the basket is good. It is. He's going to be charged with the foul, but the basket is good.
Stevens saw daylight for that basket. Iowa State likes to get up and down the court. Stevens will usually be on the lead end of those passes as he runs the court 94 foot. Watch him here coming in. He ducks inside, going to try and avoid it. Well, who is it? DJ that takes the charge. The ball they ruled was let go, so they count the basket.
Score tied 8-all, 15-18 to play in the first half. That foul on Stevens, his first, and of course the first against Iowa State. And here is a call now going against Jeff Grayer. That's his first and the second against the Cyclones.
There's the young man we featured, Jeff Grayer. Now with Wayman Tisdale in, we'll see the defense I thought that Iowa State would probably play. It was similar to what they played a year ago with Ronnie Harris at 6'3" and quick. They'll try and cover Grayer on Tisdale down inside, trying to keep him from getting the basketball with help from behind.
There's the team foul situation, and Davis set to put it in play. Davis into Tisdale. That'll be 2 normally.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get it first time, but he did the job. Tisdale with his first basket.
You don't succeed at first. try again.
10-8. Driving is Grayer, and a foul on Grayer. There's a fine block by Tisdale, but Grayer made contact. That's his second and team foul number 3.
Watch Linwood Davis come in here now. Comes in to help on defense. Sets right in there. Grayer up in the air. Tisdale makes the block, and Linwood Davis sitting on him, waiting to charge Grayer with second. And I think that Grayer, in my opinion, is as key a player in this game as anyone.
Here's Bowie feeding to Kennedy. He puts it up, and a foul. Right there you saw Oklahoma's quickness. The call will go against Sam Hill, his first. And all of a sudden the team fouls are evened up at 4 apiece.
That foul is on Grayer, who's going to be his third.
It is on Greer.
And Greer, knowing his value, he should let Kennedy, in my opinion, right here early in the game, he should have let this play go and save that foul.
Greer comes out of the game, and taking over number 43, Tom Peterson. Peterson is a senior from Fort Dodge, Iowa. Very strong young man, good defensive player. Kennedy gets it down. This fellow's been on a tear of late, Gary. Kennedy with 34 against Kansas.
Well, he's 23 of 31 in the first 2 Big 8 games, if that tells you anything.
Shoot Kennedy, he's really picked them up. 12-8, Oklahoma. 14:45 to go, first half. Sam Hill back out to Peterson. Peterson, number 43. Hornacek now back out front to Stevens. Stevens guarded by Shoot Kennedy, takes a 25-footer over the hoop. Rebound, Wayman Tisdale.
Iowa State only getting 1 shot at that basket, and Iowa State, you have to have Barry Stevens scoring.
Inside, goaltending. Credit the basket to Johnson if you're scoring with us. Goaltending call, and Johnson now has 4 points.
Hill overplaying, tries to recover, comes back. David Johnson up, will try to put up off the glass. Hill goes up. Watch the ball as it's thrown down. You see it coming down. Good call by the officials.
6-point lead at 14-8 for Oklahoma. Hornacek into Stevens. Stevens double team. Dishes it off to Hill for the jumper. It won't go down. And finally rebounded by the little guy Davis up to Bowie. Bowie holds up, gives to Davis for a 20-footer. In and out. Rebounded by Hill off to Hornacek. And Hornacek with a great pass, getting it down beautifully to Thompkins. He scores, and a foul charge to Oklahoma's Bowie.
But you're going to see a great pass here by Jeff Hornacek. I said an underrated player. You'll see the pass, the bounce pass. Thompkins takes it up under Bowie. Bowie just nicking him across the shoulder as he come across. And Thompkins, you see the official, Wayne Unruh, coming in there, making the call. 3-point opportunities. We come back live with Thompkins, the freshman.
Outstanding freshman, 19 years old, missing. Rebound to Bowie.
Well, I tell you, he does a great job doing rebounding. Of course, playing, now he's back at the guard. Now he plays forward or guard.
Johnson and Tisdale combined for a little activity there, and Tisdale has 4. And boy, they made that look easy. Great pass from Johnson, just in over the hoop, and Wayman just whomped it right in there.
You know, Oklahoma not taking a chance of putting the fence around him. They're just lobbing over the top early, and he's going up and jamming a couple.
16-10, the Sooners. Stevens driving in, stops. Oh, he made a nice move. Made that shot over Johnson.
He's got good leaping ability, and I think that was a great job. He went for it, stopped, took a little jump.
Here's a turnover. Peterson gets it to Stevens. His shot comes up short underneath. Coming out of there is Davis.
I don't know if that was Davis who stripped the ball again, but he has had about 3 strips underneath.
They took it away from Thompkins. Now here on the rebound, a foul committed.
This might be a little frustration on Tompkins' part here. Davis will see him, I think, right now, underneath. Watch him as the shot comes down, goes low. Tompkins takes it. Watch Linwood right there, and I think he gets all ball on that play. Good clean steal, and then Tompkins, trying to retaliate on the other end, picks up the foul.
Well, the foul has been charged to Davis, Linwood Davis. And that is Davis' second. And into the game now, Tommy Tubbs as the shot put up, and follow shot by Sam Hill. Sam Hill has his first basket, 16-14. There's Tommy Tubbs getting it down. He throws it away. Long pass down to Stevens. 2 more, and we're tied at 16.
Now you're in Iowa State's kind of game now. The pressure causes some turnovers.
Another turnover, 3-on-1. Stevens fouled by Tubbs. Traveling call against Stevens. No basket.
Boy, we see. Let's see
Some action here, haven't we?
Right here. He takes it, he plants. Yeah.
Tubbs.
See the defense down inside. We talk about Peterson now has a job of Brayer to try and keep Tisdale off the boards.
Tubbs shot won't go from 12. Peterson rebounds.
He did an excellent job of checking him that time.
Hornacek getting it underneath. Thompkins back out front to Hornacek, 17-footer. 18-16, the Cyclones have the lead for the first time.
Boy, and they are manhandling Tubbs inside on this press as they went to what they call 22, a 2-2-1, and it's really paying dividends for Johnny Orr's club.
And on the tie-up, the ball will belong to the Cyclones. Right now, we're going to get a timeout. And this crowd of more than 14,000 on their feet as they've applauded a first-half comeback for the Cyclones. 11 and a half to play in the first half. Iowa State 18, Oklahoma 16. There's some stats on Iowa State. They're shooting 60%, 9 of 15 from the field, 8 rebounds. And Oklahoma 44%, 7 out of 16, 9 rebounds. Turnovers, 6 for ISU and 5 for Oklahoma.
Jay, we have the top 2 teams offensively in this league playing right here tonight. Oklahoma averaging 93.3. That's best in the nation. Iowa State at 79.4 a game.
Kennedy trying to get it into Johnson, batted away by Peterson. Tom Peterson's looked very good since coming in here. As I mentioned, he's a good defensive player. As you look at Billy Tubbs, 49 years old.
Peterson's a strong kid inside. He comes in, he's a good role player, and for the job that needs to be done tonight, he's ideal in having to replace Greer with matching up against Tisdale inside.
Tommy Tubbs, number 12, holds on outside, gives to Kennedy, back to Tubbs, try to get it into Johnson, and a foul on Sam Hill.
Like Iowa State going some zone.
Hill now his second personal foul. That is team foul number 5. There's Johnny Orr. John, a native of Yale, Kansas.
We can credit that guy for putting, they say when the students are here, 14,017 attendance, and it only holds 14,020.
He can fire him up here, can he? Tubbs from 25. Tommy Tubbs ties it up at 18.
That's got to do a lot for Tommy Tubbs right now. His confidence. They came out on the press. They tacked him pretty hard. He made a couple of turnovers. To get one down, he should relax.
Game is tied for the 3rd time as we reach, or nearly reach, the midway point of this first half. And it has been a dandy up to now.
Oklahoma 2-3 zone.
Inside, Peterson gets it down. Tom Peterson's first basket. Peterson, I mentioned, very strong, talented kid, doing a good job. Turnover. That is number 6 against Oklahoma. Shoot Kennedy chatting there with his teammates, explaining the situation. Iowa State leading 20-18, a chance to get up by 4. Hill hooks and comes up short. Rebound Johnson. In the game now, we've got Tim McCalister for Oklahoma. Down underneath, shot put up by Tisdale, tapped up by Johnson. It won't go. Tisdale comes back, can't get it down. Kennedy controls outside for the Sooners.
Good jumping ability by Kennedy, and a quick jumper. Was able to get that ball, looked like Thompkins had it, and he was able to tip it away and save.
This is McCalister in there now, number 32 for the Sooners, working with Tubbs and Kennedy and Tisdale and Johnson. And Kennedy's shot is rejected by Hill. Tommy Tubbs gets it into Wayman Tisdale, and he scores it. Wayman using that left-hand shot along the baseline, has half a dozen. The score is tied at 20.
Good block by Hill, 3rd in the conference in block shots behind Joe Atkinson and Greg Dryling.
Hornacek from 25, doesn't get it. Rebounded away. Tim McCalister coming down to Tubbs. 9:15 to go in the first half, score tied at 20.
See, they're leaving Kennedy open to that distance. Now, Barry did not get back deep enough.
Tisdale in underneath, scores, and is fouled by Hill. And that is 2 on Hill and 6 against Iowa State. Tisdale taking charge in underneath here, Gary.
Watch this right now. You can see Barry Stevens should be in front, but he's in no man's land. He's between guarding Kennedy and not covering on Tisdale down deep to throw it in. Tisdale gets it in, takes it up, and is going to go to the three-point. When they double that way, the guy that doubles has got to give up the shooter or do some hedging out there and try and fake, maybe pick up a dribble at the long range. But you can't stay in between and play what I call no man's land.
Sam Hill replaced by David Moss. There's Moss, number 45, a junior from Franklin Park, Illinois.
There's a, excuse me, I was going to say smart play by Peterson there. Moss went up for the rebound, both of it. He saw that Moss had it, he backed off. A lot of times guys will take it, fight it, and lose possession. Good pass.
Peterson again. This time he misses. Gets the rebound. Goes up again. Can't get it down. Tommy Tubbs comes away with it.
Peterson, a good first shot, but when he rebounded in a heavy traffic with the Tisdale in there, he probably maybe should have taken that ball back out, set back up.
McCalister over the hoop with it. Kennedy rebounds, batted away. 3-on-2 break. Hornacek gets it off to Stevens. He scores.
Key to that play again was Hornacek. He gave the ball up early when the defense was almost straight across from him. That gives the advantage to the wingman, and Barry Stevens took it strong to the basket.
Score tied for the 5th time. 22 all. 8:10 to go. First half. Tisdale from 10. Rebounded away. This is Thompkins getting it down and driving in there. Stevens is fouled by Tommy Tubbs, his first.
Tommy Tubbs did the only thing you could do right there if you're going to protect the two. We'll see him. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He's going to make sure Barry Stevens does not get it up to the basket in a three-point opportunity or the two. Look at it. He grabs on, hangs, protects Barry right there. Good play by Tommy Tubbs. Makes him go to the line and hit the 2 free throws. Iowa State really looking out on the breaks. They said that guy right there, Barry Stevens, is always a man who will release and get down the floor quick.
81% free throw shooter. Averaging 22.2. All-time Iowa State score.
I was talking with assistant coach Jim Kerwin this afternoon. He was talking about in his scouting report how he told the Oklahoma kids about Barry Stevens. I saw him check his man, release his teammate, get it, beat everybody down court. He said that's one thing we've got to guard against.
Cyclones leading by 2 with 7:55 to play in the first half. McCalister coming in for Oklahoma. Dishes it off. Kennedy rams it home.
Good penetration by McCalister.
Kennedy has half a dozen. The score's tied at 24. 6th time we've been tied here in the first half as these two clubs have battled back and forth. Oklahoma had an early lead. Cyclones got untracked and they played right to the tilt from then on. Peterson off into the corner. Stevens from 25. Barry Stevens.
What happens in a play like that? Peterson went up for the jump shot, and when you go up, that kind of freezes the defense right there. I think they're going to the boards. He was able to drop it off with Barry, and he was able to get the shot with no pressure.
And McCalister took the shot, and Kennedy lost it out of bounds.
And Kennedy fighting those boards, had 17 rebounds in the first 2 conference games also.
Timeout, Oklahoma. Billy Tubbs, Jim Kerwin there. His other assistants, Mike Mims and Mike Anderson. 26-24, Iowa State. A sellout at Kemper, March 8th and 9th. The Big 8 tournament. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Big 8 tickets, 600 East 8th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, 64106 for your order blanks for the Big 8 tournament. The Cyclone cheerleaders entertaining here as the Cyclones are shooting 52%, 12 of 23 from the floor. Oklahoma 41%, 11 of 27. Oklahoma out rebounding ISU 18-7. The attendance a sellout 14,342 jammed into Hilton tonight.
Jay, that rebound, I'm just going to correct you, 18-11 on rebounds, sir.
18-11 is correct. You are correct, and I appreciate you read better than I do. This is Thompkins out front for the Cyclones. Hornacek, Peterson, Moss, and Stevens. Hornacek from 16 won't go. Moss tries for the rebound, comes off to Thompkins. Back out front.
Moss, who is missed about 3 weeks with injuries, has come back, and it was a year ago that he had probably his greatest game. 15 points and 14 rebounds in the Iowa State win over here against Oklahoma.
Stevens holding on. We have the 45-second clock, of course, this year in Big 8 play. Hornacek from the corner. Yes, sir.
Did a nice job taking that pass, stepping in, good rhythm. Hornacek can shoot that outside shot.
4-point lead for Iowa State, 28-24. Iowa State with a little pressure now. Tubbs double team, gets it up to Johnson. Johnson gets by Hornacek and fires in and out. Foul on Moss underneath. Moss commits the personal foul, his first.
There you look at an unhappy Johnny Orr, 2 times National Coach of the Year. I got to see this play again. I thought they were waiting on Johnson. Watch Moss right here. He stands. Oh, no, I tell you, he did not. Johnson did a great job there as he went up for the jump of jumping in, and then Moss had to move, and I think that was a good call. It's a close call, but I think it was a good one.
Johnson now has 5 points, make it 6. Johnson out of Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte. Johnson going out and Bowie back in. So it's Wayman, Tisdale, and Bowie, and Kennedy on the front line. Tubbs and McCalister on the back line for the Sooners.
Oklahoma applying a little pressure of their own. Notice Barry Stevens in that zone, double teamed right there. He'll draw a lot of attention.
Here's Moss, number 45, back out to Stevens. Stevens along the baseline. And it'll belong to Iowa State.
Got tipped from behind.
Hornacek out to Peterson. Stevens out front. Back over to Hornacek. Driving in. Thompkins to Peterson. Back to Moss. He's cracked in the lane there by Kennedy. The foul on Kennedy is his first. And it'll put Moss on the line. Harry, you were talking about him a few moments ago as we show you this play.
I hear Peterson penetrated in, looking for somebody, gets caught up, doesn't want the shot. Moss does a good job of coming to the basketball and protects and saves probably an interception, picks up the foul, hits the first one of the one-on-one.
And his first point in the game. David is a 6'9" junior, a telecommunications major, averaging 1.8 a game. He's over his average right now.
Say Iowa State right now getting production from off the bench when they were hit with foul troubles with Grayer 3 early and then Sammy Hill going out.
Tommy Tubbs coming down, holding on outside. We have 5:20 to play in the first half. McCalister cross courts it to Bowie for the jumper. Bowie's shot won't go. Moss rebound. Says, come on back here, Jeff. Or Gary, I should say. Thompkins down and out of Stevens. Back over it comes. Hornacek takes the take, doesn't fire, almost walked.
I thought he...
Thrown away. Tompkins trying to get it into Moss. Turnover. McCalister for Oklahoma. Off to Kennedy. Bowie in the corner. Back out to Tubbs with 4:50 to play. First half.
Both teams using the skip pass.
Kennedy at the foul line. Doesn't go down. Peterson
kind of hung. He missed time. He really didn't miss time his jump as much as the ball hung up there and took a big high rebound.
Into the ball game now for the Cyclones is going to come Ron Virgil, number 11.
Had a great, they call him the Iceman because he looks like a little bit like George Durbin.
He replaces Thompkins in the lineup. From the corner, Stevens again. And Stevens now has 16 points. Iowa State has its biggest lead, 32-26.
Oklahoma has the initial burst off the press, which kind of surprised all of that guy.
Nice pass from Tubbs. Beautiful move by Tisdale. 10 for Wayman.
The press has not bothered Oklahoma the last several possessions now. They've done a good job of breaking down the Iowa State press. But Iowa State not as quick in their lineup right now in that press situation either.
On Virgil, they call him the 6th man here. He always seems to come in and do whatever is asked from him. Stevens driving down, takes the jumper, in and out, tapped up underneath. Moss put it up again, no good. Tisdale comes out, shovels it to Tubbs. 3-on-1, and a beautiful play to Bowie, and a foul.
What a great play. I'd tell you, that's exciting. These kids, the way they can get up in the air, you wouldn't have seen that play years ago. Foul, I think, on Hornacek.
That's right. Here it is, Gary.
Watch Tommy Tubbs. He lays the ball up high. Bowie's a great leaper, goes up, jams it. He gets called. Hornacek on the foul. And Bowie able to grab the rim to protect himself. Look at him. Soften the pass up by Tubbs. Nice pass. Good assist. And Bowie hanging on for their line.
And Bowie at the free throw line converting. He has 5 points. And Oklahoma is back within 1. Coach Billy Tubbs and his Sooners 2-0 in conference play. This their first road game of the season. Won their first NCAA wrestling championship in 1933. Gary, you're from this part of the world. They like their wrestling in Iowa and Oklahoma, don't they?
Well, it's great wrestling. The Big Eight has always been the tops. You can go about Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Missouri recently coming in there in the top 10.
We should mention Iowa, I guess, too. The folks across the state would be a little upset. Iowa's had some pretty good teams, but this is great wrestling country, and coming up at halftime, a very special salute to a great gentleman of the world of college wrestling. 3.5 to play, first half here. Cyclones lead it 32-31. Ron Virgil gets it to Hornacek for the little jumper. Put too much on it. Tapped up. They're going to give it to Moss. Moss and Peterson were both there. Moss gets credit for it.
Boy, Johnny Orr just getting great production out of Moss inside. Good play, and Tom Peterson off the bench.
Bowie from 25. Boy, he's a good shooter from out there.
What a valuable player. There's some great newcomers in this league this year. You look at Manning, Grayer, Bowie, Chivas. You're going to miss somebody now. You'll make somebody mad on one of the teams, but there's some great young players.
They really are. 34-33, the Cyclones. Hornacek tried to force it in there to Virgil. He was fouled by Davis. Third personal on Davis. And Tommy Tubbs will come back into the lineup. Davis will come out. So it is Tisdale and Johnson, Bowie, along with Tubbs and McCalister on the court for the Sooners, Virgil and Hornacek. And on the front line, Stevens, Moss, and Peterson for the Cyclones. Virgil, a junior from Providence St. Mel High School in Chicago. Averaging 5.1 a game. That's his first point.
He gives Johnny Orr some versatility, too, because he can play the guard spot as well, a big guard, or go down to a forward. Even though slightly built, he's a wiry kid. He plays good defense.
3-point lead for Iowa State. McCalister over to Johnson. Almost stolen by Peterson, and he commits the foul. That's his first.
Well, you don't want a fault hustle right there. Tom Peterson looked like he could get to it, then wasn't, just kind of put his hand up in the arms and send Oklahoma to 1-1. But I'm sure Johnny Orr isn't going to fault that kind of hustle.
David Johnson, they call him DJ. Seven points for Johnson, a 56.1% free throw shooter. The Kansas High School Player of the Year at Wyandotte. 8 points for him, 1 point lead Iowa State, 2.5 to play, first half. Peterson gets it over to Stevens. Stevens takes the right-hand shot, and it bounced back over on the left side and was taken away there by McCalister. Tommy Tubbs now. Oklahoma with a chance to get the lead back.
Got to compliment Oklahoma here. Good block.
McCalister is fouled by Ron Virgil. His first. McCalister to go to the free throw line with 2:09 to play in this first half. McCalister from Gary, Indiana, the Big 8 newcomer of the year last season. He's had some injury problems. T-Mac, they call him. He's come back. Seems to be rounding into shape. That's his first point of the night.
Quite a gospel singer, too. We mentioned that last year. Sings at Wayman Tisdale's father, Reverend Tisdale Baptist Church in Tulsa. And I understand quite a voice.
36 for Iowa State, and now 37 for Oklahoma as they retake the lead. Peterson from way out. Oh, how about that one? Is he that good from that far away, Gary?
Jay, he can hit that shot if he's not under pressure. He's not going to put the ball on the floor, but if you just give him a swing pass and he can just square up and have time, he can hit the shot from that distance.
Bowie seesaw back and forth. Johnson puts it up and won't go. Rebound Moss. Ron Virgil for the Cyclones. A minute and a half to play, first half here in Ames.
And Oklahoma has not been hitting the second and third shots as much lately. Great interception. He leads the conference with 47 coming into this ball game.
Stevens threw it away, trying to force it into the middle.
He does a great job. Yeah, I think one of the things that he does, he's a lot like Hornacek. They'll show you a passing lane and make you think it's open, and they'll anticipate and go for it like he did there and make the steal.
18 seconds left on the clock. I think 45-second clock. 55 seconds left.
Oklahoma was trying to play this for 2 possessions for them and 1 for Iowa State, I think, right here, Jay, running the clock down.
Billy Tubbs, the 84 Big 8 Coach of the Year. The foul charged to Moss is his second.
So Billy there working on his 4th 20-game season in a row. They've had three 20-game seasons back-to-back.
Hope Jack Hartman is looking in tonight. He called this fellow the finest athlete he ever coached. And Jack, if you are watching, we understand you're feeling much, much better. All the best from all of us on the Big 8 crew.
I echo that, Jay. Also to Ron Spittler, who I saw work the other night. You know, in the game we had Oklahoma, Missouri, he was taken out of the ball game, got hit by a cheerleader along the sidelines. He's glad to see that he was okay and back working Big 8 basketball.
And for those of you who didn't see it, it was an accident. It wasn't
right.
any altercation.
Better clear that up.
They got together just on one of those situations. All right, the Cyclones will hold for the last shot. Well, Iowa State leading 38-37.
Oklahoma's going to get it with about 5 seconds to go.
Hornacek won't go for him. Rebound to Johnson. 4 seconds. Tubbs down to Bowie. Bowie puts it up. Won't go. Halftime here at Hilton Coliseum. Well, an extremely exciting first half. 38-37. Iowa State leading Oklahoma. Back with our halftime activities in just a few moments. Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa. The Cyclones 38-37 here at halftime. And a very, very interesting first half it was. Jay Randolph along with Gary Thompson. Interestingly enough, I thought the Cyclones were a little tight in the first 4 or 5 minutes. Once they got on track, they were able to get back into a situation where it went back and forth for most of this first half.
Well, it's a big game for Iowa State. There's no doubt about it. I think they've talked about this game around here, that this is a game and a win tonight that really could push them into a spot to challenge for all the marbles here in the Big 8 Conference. And I agree with you. I think they came out a little tight shooting. And of course, that did not allow them to get into their type of game. If you're not, they had some early turnovers, weren't hitting the basket. Consequently, they couldn't get to their press. Oklahoma bounced out to what was 6-0 lead. Once they started to hit some shots, Stevens warmed up. They were able to set in their 22 or a 2-2-1 press. They caused some turnovers. They got back in the basketball game, and that was the key.
Gary mentioned on a couple of occasions the support that Johnny Orr got off his bench. Certainly Peterson, Virgil, they came in and did an excellent job. And of course, Tisdale came off the bench here in the first half, not starting. A few of the Sooners, again, we want to mention, bothered a bit by the flu. And this is going to be a dandy tonight, I think, before it's all over.
It certainly is, and I think we might see Peterson here coming off the bench. I think he had about 4 points in the first half. You'll see him here outside. And you mentioned about shooting. Right there, without pressure on him, he can hit that shot when he squares up right there, and even from that distance. He's not the kind of kid that can put it on the floor on you, beat you with quickness, and then get the shot up.
And he certainly helped with the rebounding underneath.
And Moss, who came off, who had his greatest game against these Sooners last year. But Tisdale is getting good play, all-around play. They're better balanced in this first half and could pay off for them in the end, where Stevens is leading Iowa State almost entirely in the scoring.
More halftime activities coming up right after we take this timeout. State was at Missouri last Saturday, and to report the action, Barry Ozerski. Saturday, Oklahoma State gets by Nebraska. Gallagher Hall, Stillwater, Oklahoma. With that report, here's Jack Buns.
The Nebraska.
Time now to showcase the Big 8 Player of the Week, and to handle that chore in fine fashion, here's Gary Thompson.
The Oklahoma Sooners lend us the Big 8 Player of the Week for the second week in a row. Darryl Kennedy scored 53 points by hitting 23 of 31 field goals against Missouri and Kansas. He was the key player in the victory over the Jayhawks with 34 points, his career high. Darryl is averaging 26.5 points per game in Big 8 play. Our congratulations to Darryl Kennedy, our Big 8 Buick Player of the Week.
There's the halftime score. I want to welcome our viewers watching tonight on Sports Vision in Chicago, Illinois. The Cyclones, of course, have a number of players from the greater Chicago area as you look at the first half statistics.
Jay, just about everything even on the statistical side as the score here, 38-37. The only thing that stands out, Oklahoma is shooting only 41%, 49% for Iowa State, and that's the big difference in the first half, which results in only a 1-point lead. Iowa State, having come back and done a good job on the boards, narrowed that back down 21-19, only a 2-rebound advantage.
Tisdale leading the Oklahoma scoring as he came off the bench. The Iowa State scoring, Stevens with 16.
Much better balance on the Oklahoma side, but as long as it doesn't matter how you get them.
Iowa State gets the ball to start the second half. Thompkins and Hornacek on the back line with Hill, Stevens, and Grayer up front.
Oklahoma coming out in a 1-3-1 half-court trap, just a soft trap, really not that much pressure.
Hill missing, and the rebound to Kennedy. Kennedy and Davis along with Wayman Tisdale as they turn it over. McCalister and Bowie out there driving in. Ball batted out. They wanted a goaltending call as Kennedy batted it out of there. Now here's McCalister, banks it off the glass.
Boy, there's a turnaround. A great save by Kennedy on one end. It's almost a 4-point play with Iowa State not getting what looked like a cinch two on one end, and Linwood Davis coming down, doing a good job dishing off, and Oklahoma converting.
Oklahoma takes the lead 39-38. In the second half, Nebraska leading Colorado 59-51. Shot put up by Grayer won't go, and a foul. No, the ball out of bounds. It'll belong to the Cyclones. Kansas State leads Oklahoma State University in the second half 63-53. And Wichita State 35, Drake 33. That game's still going on. Jump shot is good by Grayer, the freshman from Flint, Michigan. Michigan Player of the Year last season. 40-39 as it seesaws back and forth, and we're in the opening moments of the second half here at Hilton Coliseum in Ames.
Johnny Orr had, I would think, just feel real great to go in halftime, a 1-point lead. Grayer and Hill, his two starters, had only played 16 minutes between them, but he got tremendous performances out of Moss and Peterson.
Kennedy inside, nice move. Kennedy has been on a tear in recent days, as we told you. He now has 8 points, and Oklahoma's back up on top 41-40. 18-20 to play. Hornacek guarded by Davis.
Well, that play by Kennedy was not only a big swing in the points, but also in the crowd reaction. The crowd stayed quiet. It really brought the crowd up, and Iowa State converted on that play.
Barry Stevens loves that baseline. He has 18 points, and it's Iowa State on top 42-41. Long pass to Kennedy. Makes a move, banks it off the glass, and Kennedy comes out hot. He has 10 now.
That natural athletic ability, a lot of guys would have taken that shot. He's a little bit more effective in. He had a defensive man in front of him, but still with his ability to put it down, snake his way through, step through, and then good body control up off the glass.
Oklahoma zoning. Here's the jumper from 18 by Thompkins. Won't go. Rebound Tisdale. Linwood Davis. Davis with a bounce pass. McCalister from 20. Batted out. Hornacek. He does a good job going for the ball. He has a nose for it. Hornacek's long pass batted high. Linwood Davis comes back after the turnover for Oklahoma.
T-Mac has not had a good night shooting again, but again, the interception and turn around.
Stevens steals it away. Hornacek gets cracked down court.
Jay, there is basketball intelligence by Hornacek. You'll see it. The pass was led to him. I think we'll get a chance to pick it up and talk about it here. You see Linwood Davis. He'll have a man, I think it's Barry Stevens, come behind, makes a steal. He'll make a lead pass. Hornacek cutting across. This pass would have been intercepted, but Hornacek really went for the basketball and saved the possession and picked up a foul.
Hornacek putting it in play, and scoring is Sam Hill. Hill has 4 points.
That's not easy either when you see the big Tiz coming after you.
Iowa State back up 44-43. Foul on Barry Stevens.
That's going to be on Thompkins.
Or Thompkins, excuse me.
Let's watch. Turlinger, the official right there.
Was he set here? It looked like his leg was moving.
Well, we got a leg moving and Bowie on the push with the left arm, so it's either way. It's one of those calls that go either way. The crowd, when you're at home, Iowa State's going to react negatively, and if it was Oklahoma fans, are going to be happy with it.
Bowie having a good night from outside.
Boy, I like his touch and what he can do for a ball club.
He has 9 points. Oklahoma back in the lead. It goes back and forth. It's 45-44 Sooners. 16 and a half to play in this game. From deep in the corner, Stevens hits again.
You know, that's the Barry corner. Got to go back out here with Oklahoma. They're talking about, there's Barry's spot. He'll look for that corner, they said. You know it, but it's hard to take it away completely.
Grayer steals, gives to Stevens, scores again.
Well, he can light it up. And Jay, with that field goal, Barry Stevens has set an all-time Iowa State field goal record here. He passes Herkel Ivey, 753 field goals in his career.
And of course, he's the all-time leading scorer here. Here's Bowie, guarded by Hornacek. Iowa State back in the lead by 3, and this crowd getting into it here. More than 14,000 jammed into Hilton Coliseum here tonight.
This is exactly what Kennedy kept off Oklahoma's backs at the start of this half with that big block.
Davis into Kennedy. No basket. Foul before the shot.
Going to be on Barry Stevens. Good penetration by Linwood Davis, the little guard again. Penetrating in, forcing people to try and rotate up and look to help, and then shoveling off to Kennedy.
And Tommy Tubbs coming back into the Oklahoma lineup. That foul is charged to Sam Hill, his 3rd. As you look at Johnny Orr. He was a great football and basketball star at Illinois and at Beloit, Wisconsin College. And his Iowa State Cyclones lead at 48-45 with 15:29 to play.
Back to this opening play of the second half. Hornacek looking one way, passes the other to Thompkins. He goes up, and Kennedy on a block, which I think, on looking at that, looks like a good block, saved 2. Then Linwood Davis all the way down the other end, converted 2 for Oklahoma, and gave him a 1-point lead at that time.
Oklahoma's Tommy Tubbs putting it in play. Tubbs and McCalister and Bowie and Wayman Tisdale and Chu Kennedy on the court. Hornacek and Stevens, Hill along with Thompkins and Grayer out there for Johnny Orr's Cyclones. McCalister from 25 won't go. Tapped up by Tisdale, won't go. Kennedy gets it. Oh, what a move Kennedy made. In the air, turnaround shot, 12 for Kennedy. 48-47, 1-point lead.
Excuse me, Jay. I was going to say Iowa State was to come back, did a great job on the board, just the way Oklahoma opened up in the first half, was getting 2 and 3 cracks at the basket, and that time they used their board strength to get another 2.
Cyclones with the basketball and the 1-point advantage. They have a record of 13-5. Oklahoma's 13-4. Driving in, Stevens' shot wouldn't go. Rebounded by Thompkins. Off it comes. Scored by Hill.
Big save by Tisdale, but Iowa State fortunate enough to come away with the loose ball, and Hill converting.
Here's a steal on the far side. Grayer stolen right back by McCalister.
That McCalister is something else. I show you. He shows you something and then anticipates and takes away what. Well, if that pass goes through, then you look for it to be a cinch 2 points because McCalister's out of position. But he leads the league in steals. 47 coming in. He's had at least 2 or 3 tonight.
And he leads the club in assists. Kennedy underneath again. Kennedy, quite a force in underneath. 14 points.
Well, you try to help on Tisdale. Here, let's watch Tisdale. Gets the pass over the top, come in. You're trying to help on Tisdale. Guys like Kennedy and Bowie love that because it frees them up a little bit more. And Kennedy had the great game against Kansas, also 34 points, as they tried to double team on Tisdale inside.
He's really been a dominant force over the last couple of games, and again here tonight. 13 and a half minutes to play. Iowa State leads by 1. Missed underneath by Hill. Back come the Sooners with a chance to take the lead. Bowie to Tubbs.
It's a good feed by Thompkins that time. That had to thread a needle through, but Hill could not quite handle it.
Tisdale along the baseline. Lets one go. It won't go, and the rebound to Hill. Hill gets it out to Thompkins. 3-on-2. Thompkins scores, and the basket is good. And the foul underneath.
I tell you, Tommy Tubbs did a great job. He plays Thompkins all the time. Watch him. Tompkins tries to look him away, but takes it up. The ball's gone. Tubbs holds his ground and picks up the charge. Watch it. Right there, close, right in there between whether the ball gets released or not. He gave him the basket, charged the foul. Good defensive job by Tubbs.
Third team foul against Iowa State. Second by Thompkins. Bowie to the right of the basket is fouled. He got a pass from way outside from McCalister. Went up, and the foul charge to Hornacek is his second.
One of the most disciplined junior college kids I think I've seen come in. I like Strong in Missouri too. But on that pass, a lot of guys would take that lob in the air, off balance, and try and put it up on the board anyhow. But Bowie saw that he couldn't have good control, brought the ball back down, and then took it back up. He draws the foul.
Bowie, 6'6", Boo out of East Central in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's a 78.8% free throw shooter. Remember, Gary had a big night in the loss at Tulsa, 26 points and 10 rebounds. Moss is going to come back in for Iowa State to replace Sam Hill. David Moss, number 45, the junior, as Hill sits it out.
I wonder if
Hill has 4 personal fouls. Bowie.
You can understand why Bowie, two-time JUCO All-American.
Again, it's a 1-point lead for Iowa State. 12:40 to play in this one. Stevens comes up short from 30. Tisdale rebounds, gives to Tubbs, and again, Oklahoma has a shot at retaking the lead. McCalister. Down to Kennedy. Tubbs back to Kennedy. Hits again, and Kennedy really heating up now, has 16 points.
You gamble on defense when you have to play a guy like Tisdale because you're swarming around him and it opens people up. And I said before that when you do that, you got to hope that Oklahoma outside does not hit the good percentage. McCalister hasn't, but Kennedy, for the second game in a row, is just filling it up.
This is Thompkins for the Cyclones. They're trying to get the lead back, down 1. Moss out to Greer. Hornacek. Greer takes the jumper. Oh, nice move. Gliding across the lane. Greer has 6 points. 54-53 Iowa State. 11:40 to go. Ball batted high. Stolen away over there. Taken down by Thompkins. Down for the stop. Barry Stevens.
Great court awareness that time by Thompkins. They got the steal. As soon as he got control, he knew right away that the man was open underneath.
Stevens has 24. Here's Kennedy for Oklahoma. 56-53. Iowa State by 3. Tubbs out front. Into Tisdale. Tisdale. Foul on Tisdale. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. They may have called it on Thompkins. I want to double check it. Foul is on Thompkins. Foul is on Thompkins, and we got ice all over the floor, and Johnny Orr is some kind of hot.
Well, let's watch now. This foul has to happen before. Tisdale goes up. Thompkins, boy, I don't know whether I see it there on the grab. It looks like the ball because they ruled in. Then that foul beforehand
I think Johnny
overrules
Orr's
that other
got
call.
Orr has a reason maybe to be upset. Now, let's see if we're going to get this overruled. We got ice all over the court here, and Coach Orr wants to talk to John DeBrow and is saying something about the call the other official made. Coach Orr is some kind of hot. Well, we've got time out here as we get the floor cleaned up and check things out for you. 11:14 to play in this game. Iowa State 56-53.
As far as Coach Johnny Orr feels, Tisdale went up. The call was ruled here. Watch Thompkins. He on the ball, and to me from that angle does not look like he gets any hands. If he gets hands as part of the ball, you'd have to get him on the wrist, and then Moss. Let's watch here from another shot. Tisdale comes down, Thompkins comes through, and we're really blocked out from that shot, particular play there to see whether Thompkins committed the foul. But that was the ruling. I think Unruh had come in and called the charge, but DeBrow came and overruled, which would be the right play on calling the foul on Thompkins, because it happened prior to the charging foul that Unruh called.
Bowie and Tisdale, Tubbs, Kennedy, and McCalister on the court for the Sooners. Tubbs to put it in play. Gets it out to Bowie. Got Thompkins and Hornacek, along with Dreyer and Moss and Stevens there for the Cyclones. Hill sitting it out in foul trouble right now for Iowa State. Pass in under Tisdale. Looks like they had that one set up, Gary. Beautiful play.
Tiz just did a great job. He got, as he rolled up, he got Moss behind him and kept him there, sealed him off, and they went, when you lob to Tisdale and get it right like that lob was, he's going to get it all the time.
Tisdale has 12 points. 1-point Cyclone lead. They tried to feed it inside to Moss from Thompkins. Wouldn't go. Here's the shot from the side by Stevens. No good. Tapped up Moss. No good. Tapped up Jeff Dreyer. Dreyer scored it. He has 8 points.
He's really an unsung hero-type basketball player for Iowa State. He goes along. He's not spectacular. He just does a lot of great things. And there's another guy that does great things.
Bowie beating Kennedy. Bowie kind of like a fisherman. Just had the hook on the line there and went in far enough to get the defense to come to him, and then he hit Kennedy underneath.
Iowa State probably ruled in the first half on getting quick baskets or off the break, but Oklahoma now, which is also their specialty, doing a great job of coming out quick and getting transition baskets here in the second half.
10 minutes to play. Midway through the second half. Iowa State led 38-37 at halftime. Moss! And no call underneath as Kennedy was cracked into. 6 points for Moss.
Well, here it is quick. You see Moss go up. You know what? I think the defensive man looked pretty well squared up on that one. Probably good no call.
Now a foul on Moss and underneath. His third. 16 fouls. Only one team foul against Oklahoma at this point in the proceedings here in the second half. 9:29 to play. Tubbs will put it in play for Oklahoma.
Dave Moss evidently likes Oklahoma. He said had one of his greatest games last year and has come back. Hasn't seen that much action this year, but just has done a tremendous job in relief of Sam Hill.
Tubbs into Tisdale. Batted away. And Kennedy comes out of nowhere.
What an opportunity player. That time I thought, just looking from this angle, that Tisdale might have got hacked and lost the ball, but Kennedy coming through, and what a game he is playing.
Iowa State leads by 1. Hornacek driving, banking it in.
I'll tell you, he is tough on that shot. Take it on a drive, floating in the air, and with one hand. He does it time and time again, and I think it's one of the most difficult shots that there is in the basketball game.
Hornacek gives the Cyclones a 3-point advantage. 8:40 to play. Tisdale out to Tubbs. McCalister. 2-3 zone at the moment. Kennedy to Bowie. Back to Kennedy. Fall away jumper. In and out. Tough shooting left for him. Hornacek comes out of there. 3-on-3. Hornacek is fouled by Bowie. Foul charge to Bowie, number 25.
Hornacek really pushing the action. Watch here on Bowie. He'll get the shoulder down, goes through, feels the foul right there, knows it, and now is going to try and con the officials in to get him 2 shots in here, or maybe the basket, which he does not get.
2 on Bowie, 2 on Oklahoma here in the second half. Hornacek back out front to Dreyer. And Hornacek from 20. In and out. Wayman Tisdale rebounds. Tommy Tubbs on the attack for the Sooners. McCalister. 8 minutes to play in this game.
And watching the zone, Thompkins over there. Watch him spot up on McCalister. Well, he gets there a little late this time, but they've been giving Tubbs the shot and spotting up on McCalister.
Foul on Kennedy underneath his second as he went for the rebound. Third team foul against Oklahoma.
Here we got the play again. Tubbs reverse the ball. Shot goes up by McCalister. Thompkins comes late. They're checking off. We'll see. Rims around and down. And Grayer, good check off. Kennedy up over the top. Picks up his second.
Timeout with 7:53 remaining. Iowa State 62. Oklahoma 59. More Big 8 action in a moment.
Here's his last play. As I said, Wayman gets great job. Good hands as he comes up in the crowd, gets the ball, and then jams it through. Boy, he's got the strong hands. I say, when you get that ball up high in the arch and coming straight down, he's going to go up. He gets it at the top of his jump.
Gary, the rebounding's evened up. 28-27, Oklahoma. Oklahoma shooting 49%. Iowa State 50%. Outstanding performances by these two units.
I'll tell you, this is, I think, a great basketball game. Entertaining. Fans have to be enjoying it, those that are here and those that are viewing.
David Johnson back into the lineup. That'll beef up the Oklahoma front line. Johnson and Tisdale, Bowie, Kennedy, and McCalister.
Big lineup in there for Oklahoma right now.
Hornacek and Thompkins on the back line.
Coming with a 1-3-1 pressure.
That's Grayer over in the corner, in and out, tapped up by Moss, won't go. And it is a foul on Hornacek as he just couldn't get out of the way of Bowie, who came up with a rebound. Number 2 on Hornacek.
Well, officials did a good job there. I think a kind of call. It was kind of incidental contact when they came out, and Hornacek kind of excused me running over. But once he went down and knocked him, there was nothing you could do. You've got to call the foul. Good look at Billy Tubbs. We mentioned that earlier, 3 straight 20-win seasons. Jim Kerwin, his assistant, sitting there on his right. Came from Seminole Junior College in his first season with the Sooners. And he had this young man right here. Bowie played for him at Seminole Junior College. Great talent.
Bowie hits the free throw. He has a dozen. 62-60, Iowa State. 7:35 to play. That shot of Billy Tubbs. He's been rather subdued in recent games. Said he's turned over a new leaf. Quit battling the officials. Just going to do the best he can to coach his team. 1-point lead now, Iowa State. Hornacek into the corner to Stevens. Hornacek back out front to Thompkins, and around it comes to Grayer. They work for the shot. Over in the corner, Stevens made the move and fires, and it won't go, and Tisdale rebounds, and the Sooners have a chance for the lead.
After that initial surge of this half, Stevens been a little quiet now. He's the kind of player that will go on streaks.
Here's Kennedy in tight, hitting again. Kennedy is magic tonight. 22 points for Kennedy.
16 of those in the second half. I think he had 6 at halftime, and a little double pump on that shot, which makes it even more difficult.
The Sooners have the lead, trying to get to 3-0 in conference play. This is their first road game in Big 8 play after winning 2 at home. Oklahoma, Gary, coming off wins over Missouri, 92-65. Inside, Moss put it up, wouldn't go. Johnson, and of course they beat Kansas 87-76 last Saturday. 2 impressive home victories for Oklahoma. Chance to go up by 3. Ball on the floor, turnover. 2-on-2. Stevens gives it off. Thompkins misses. Tapped up, good. Stevens.
Great pass by Barry Stevens out here in the just over the half timeline right there, going down. A bounce pass through, freed up Thompkins, and then he stayed on the board and put Iowa State back in the lead by 1.
Stevens showing great athletic ability on that last play. Iowa State back in the lead. Johnson out front. Out to Bowie. Bowie into the corner. McCalister. Back to Bowie, back to Johnson. They're trying to get it to the big man. There he is. Tisdale wouldn't go. Tisdale gets it back. Scores! And a foul on Moss.
Look at the big guy. Is he strong? right there. He gets hacked. See the official counting the basket and still able to put the ball to the basket.
14 points for Tisdale.
Watch this action again. Watch the Tisdale on the first one come down, takes it back up, gets moved out by Moss. Looks like underneath on the body is just shoving him away, and Tisdale gets it down 2 and we come back. 3-point opportunity. Chance to stretch the lead to 2 for the Sooners.
The All-American, the Olympian, missing underneath. And back into the game for the Cyclones is Sam Hill, number 33. Oklahoma leading by a point. Hornacek. Hornacek back out front to Thompkins. Hornacek and Thompkins with Stevens, Hill, and Prayer. Hornacek missing from 20. Rebound Johnson.
Iowa State, which has been hitting well now the last 2 possessions, starting to cool off, not being able to hit.
5 minutes to play. Tisdale inside, misses, taps it up, gets it back, scores again.
Oh, look at him.
And Tisdale is taking charge. He and Kennedy have been very special here in the last 5 minutes.
Moss may, well, see, Hill's in there right now. Peterson did a great job. They might come back with Peterson to put him on Tisdale. Peterson, a real strong kid, did a good job in there in the first half.
4:48 remaining to be played in regulation time here at Hilton Coliseum. Oklahoma 67, Iowa State 64.
Sagging off. Kennedy right there. They put the ball around Tisdale. Tisdale, with 3 guys around him, comes out. Watch Barry Stevens. A good bounce pass early. Lets Thompkins go in for the shot. Avoids the man in the charge. Stevenson falls once, can't get it. And then with good jumping ability, up off the glass, getting 2 for Iowa State.
As we come back live, Ron Virgil, number 11, in for ISU, along with Hornacek on the back line. Hill, Grayer, and Stevens up front. Bowie, Wayman, Tisdale, David Johnson, McCalister, and Kennedy out there for the Sooners.
Jay, that last rebound by Tisdale gave him 11 for the night. He passes Jim Davis of Colorado and moves into 14th place on the all-time Big 8 rebounding list. 864 rebounds as he just continues to move up the charts for records he doesn't already hold.
Big basket there by Barry Stevens. 1-point lead, Oklahoma. And here's Hornacek trying for the steal. Almost got it. Ball went out of bounds. This crowd now trying to get fired up back into the game with 4:17 to play.
Good jam was there by Hornacek, who's 4th in the league in steals, but hit off his foot, went out of bounds.
Oklahoma looking to get it into Tisdale. There it comes. Turns. And soft touch. Tisdale again. And Wayman now has 18.
It's been the Tisdale show right here the last 4 or 5 minutes. Now that's become game time. He's really exerting himself.
And before that, it was Kennedy who was really tough. They put on a great second half show here.
A strong 1-2 punch.
The jumper up and won't go for Hill. Rebound to Johnson. 3.5 to play. Oklahoma leads by 3. Tisdale, 2 more.
And a great pass by Kennedy again. It was Kennedy to Tisdale.
And timeout for Johnny Orr to talk things over. And the Sooners in high gear now, leading at 71-66 with 3:22 left to go in this one.
Now watch here. Oklahoma beating Iowa State in the transition game. Iowa State might be getting tired right now. Watch this Kennedy. Quick as soon as his hand sees Tisdale down underneath. 1 dribble, back up to left hand, and up and around the rim for 2. Good feed by Kennedy. The 2 principals for Oklahoma combining again for 2 big Sooner points and a 5-point lead.
Well, Gary, on Saturday afternoon, you'll be in Boulder, Colorado. Kansas and Colorado go at it at 2 o'clock Central Time. I'll be away on a special assignment. You'll be joined by Dwayne Statz for that one. Last night, Kansas 70, Missouri 68 in a dandy at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence as Kansas came from behind to pull it out. Colorado playing at Nebraska and Oklahoma State at K-State tonight. We don't have any finals on either one of those. The last scores we had, Kansas State was leading OSU 63-53. Nebraska leading Colorado 59-51. 3:22 remaining to be played here. Oklahoma has been averaging 44.8 rebounds a game, one of the top rebounding teams in the country. Cyclones 35.1, and you mentioned that Iowa State might be a little tired. This is a very physical Oklahoma club, no question about that.
Johnny Orr right now coming in with Virgil, a little bit more offensive power than Thompkins.
Virgil from 25 won't go. McCalister rebounds, almost lost it. McCalister gets it up to Bowie.
I see, this has been a tough ball game on the board and everything. Hornacek has been in the whole ball game. I can't remember him being out, or Stevens.
Fouled as Johnson was triple teamed. The call goes against Virgil, his second. Johnson will go to the free throw line. Johnson, just a 56.1% free throw shooter. He has 8 points tonight. Points now, and it's 72-66. 6-point lead.
Johnson's first point, and I was going to say 2 points, but his first point of the second half.
Ball went out of bounds off Kennedy. It'll belong to the Cyclones. They badly need a bucket. 2:50 to play, and they're on their feet here. Hornacek to Virgil. Into Hill, back out to Hornacek. Over for the shot by Grayer. It won't go. Tapped up. Stevens, it wouldn't go. And a foul on Virgil.
You know what I think right now? I don't know if they've been told, but it looks like Iowa State might be gambling just a little bit when they see Johnson with the ball. Virgil's come in, has some fouls to spare, picked up 2 for 3 on the night. But Johnson, the poorest free throw shooter, they might be gambling a little bit here early on him to miss the 1-and-1s.
Johnson on the line. He's been tough. 10 points for him. Into the game for Iowa State, Gary Thompkins, the freshman from Jackson, Michigan. Biggest lead in the game now for Oklahoma, 73-66. Another one for Johnson, and he has 11. And the Cyclones are in deep trouble. Hornacek.
Hitting those free throws for Johnson's got to help him. He's had 2 or 3 ball games this year for Oklahoma where hitting some free throws could put them in position to win or narrow the gap. That's got to help his confidence.
Hill missed, got it back, banked it off the glass. He has 8 points. 74-68. Lead of 6 for Oklahoma. Kennedy back out to McCalister. They'll run a little clock. Nearing the 2-minute mark to play. Bowie back out to Johnson. 2 minutes left in regulation.
You notice Bowie putting his hands out there when David Johnson got the ball. He says, give it back to me, man. I'll handle it.
McCalister out front. Bowie tapped away. Hornacek made a great play. Hornacek coming down. Hornacek trying to feed off to the right side. Ball batted out as he tried to get the pass to Grayer. And Tisdale came up with it just before he reached the sideline. Cyclones missing an opportunity there. Bowie to Johnson. Oh, Johnson with the free throws and now with a baseline jumper. He has 13 points and it's back up to 76-68. An 8-point lead.
That was a big play. Steal by Hornacek. They don't convert. Bowie steals it back. He runs right behind McCalister, 1 in the league, and Bowie 2nd in the league.
Hornacek hits the basket. Foul on Hornacek. Is the basket good? It is. The basket is good. 10 points for Hornacek. 76-70. 3rd personal on Hornacek. Another factor in this half has been that Oklahoma's been on the 1-and-1 for a long while. 7:35 mark. And ISU has only committed, or Oklahoma has only committed 3 team fouls. 76-70. Oklahoma. Back with more in a moment. Thompson, Jay Randolph here at Hilton Coliseum in Ames, and I think we can tell one of the reasons why things have changed a bit. Oklahoma's now shooting 53%. Iowa State has dropped off to 46%. Oklahoma with 37 rebounds, ISU with 33. Johnson back at the free throw line. He's been tough here in the recent moments. 1-and-1 for Johnson. 14 points. Very, very fine job for this young man, as Gary mentioned, gaining some confidence, I'm sure. This one misses. Rebound to Hill. Hornacek almost lost it. 7-point lead. Oklahoma. Hill in the lane. Puts it up. It won't go. Hornacek rebounding. Put it up. No good. Tapped up again. And a foul. I think it'll be on Kennedy, but I'm not sure. Foul is on David Johnson or Kennedy. It's on David Johnson. Hornacek will put it in play. That's only the 14th foul. Comes in, driving in, putting it up. Jeff Grayer. And a foul on this play. 52 seconds left. Iowa State with a chance to get within 5, as this is going to be a shooting situation. Foul is on Bowie, his 3rd. And that's 5 team fouls now against Oklahoma. And Jeff Grayer, the 6'5" freshman from Flint, Michigan. Michigan Player of the Year last season on the line. Not even close.
One more, guys.
Foul in the act of shooting. He's got 1 to come. Oklahoma with a big spurt late here. Great play from Kennedy, Tisdale, and Johnson here in the second half. 6-point lead. Johnson was about to call timeout when Bowie had the problem getting it in. Oklahoma. Now timeout. Oklahoma wants a timeout with 49 seconds left to play. Iowa State down by 6, 77-71. I want to remind you again about Big 8 activity this weekend. On Saturday, Kansas at Colorado. That's the TV game. Gary and Dwayne Stats will be with you at 2 Central Time. Kansas State at Oklahoma. Iowa State plays at Oklahoma State. Missouri is at Nebraska. Kansas completes a busy week with a non-conference game on Sunday afternoon at Michigan. So hope you can get out and see one of the games in your area. The Big 8 women's basketball race looks to be one of the best in years. Perennial powers Missouri. Kansas State being pushed by Oklahoma. Oklahoma State and Kansas. In the women's game here tonight, it was Oklahoma 89-56 over Iowa State. Well, Gary Thompson, we come down to the final 49 seconds of this one. 77-71.
A lot of action that can be played in 49 seconds. I'm not sure, as I'm down here on the court right now, Jay, of how many timeouts go, but these coaches anymore can milk a lot of time out of timeout situations.
All right, it is going to be Johnson who will put it in play. Peterson is back in the ball game for the Cyclones. The pass comes out to Bowie. Bowie on the run for Oklahoma. And he is fouled by Hornacek, 1-1. 43 seconds left to go. The 4th personal on Hornacek. Hill will come back into the lineup. Peterson will go out. On the line will be Bowie, Gary, 13 points.
All right, and a good free throw shooter. You can see that he wants to handle the ball a lot as they run down this 43 seconds, as they know that Iowa State's going to have to gamble and go for the fouls. They want the ball in the hands of the good shooter.
And it comes out to Hill. Off to Hornacek. Hornacek on the run into the corner. The little jumper is up by Thompkins. It won't go. Rebounded by Bowie. And a foul on Jeff Grayer of Iowa State, his 4th.
Jay, McCalister has not, we thought he was going to be important in the ball game as far as scoring tonight from the outside. He has not scored well, probably has not taken that many shots, but he has done a great job. Steals and a big block again there, even with a 6-point lead.
Grayer committing his 4th personal foul. 33 seconds remaining to be played here. And Bowie again at the line. He has 13. 78-71. And the Sooners appear to have this one in the bag. And Gary, this was a strong test for the Sooners tonight, but they handled it very well.
Well, it's a great win for them, Jay, and it'll be 16 straight Big 8 games, conference games in a row. Only 3 off the record held by Kansas State, which was accomplished back in 58 through 60.
And another great steal by McCalister. Isn't he something? And he's fouled by Thompkins. Thompkins committing his third. Iowa State led at halftime 38-37. Back and forth, and then Oklahoma, behind the great play of Tisdale, Kennedy, and Johnson, have opened it up here. McCalister now with 5 points, and it's a 9-point lead at 80-71.
Jay, in that first half, I think Iowa State, with Barry Stevens, of course, being the most of it, their front line scored pretty even with Oklahoma. But now, as you mentioned, that size and strength inside has paid off, as I'm sure that Oklahoma's front line outscored Iowa State here heavy in the second half.
Breyer puts it up, and it's tapped up and in by Sam Hill. Now, ball out of bounds, and it still belonged to Oklahoma. Hornacek thought for a moment he might have come up with a steal. 14 seconds remaining. Billy Tubbs tonight will be career victory number 204 for him, number 98 at Oklahoma. Tisdale getting it down. Bowie off into the middle to Johnson. Johnson puts it up. It won't go. Hornacek with 6 seconds. Hornacek drives down, goes in, puts it up. Foul with 1 second left. Foul is on Tisdale, and he's got a big smile on his face. Look at Wayman. Wayman did not start this game tonight, in case you joined us late. A little bit of a flu problem, but he looks all right now. The adrenaline's flowing, and Oklahoma goes to 3-0 tonight in conference play, and 14-4 overall. The 7th-ranked Sooners in the UPI coaches poll. Hornacek will be at the line.
I was going to say, Hornacek, the leading free thrower in the conference, 87%, but Tisdale, only the second time he hasn't started at Oklahoma, both times due to illness.
Hornacek missing this one. Hill puts it up. It is no good, and the final score, 81-74. Oklahoma. The Sooners now 14-4, 3-0 in conference play. Iowa State 13-6, and they go to 1-2 in the conference. Well, a splendid victory tonight for the Sooners as they came through in the second half after being down 1 at halftime. It was just an outstanding performance for Billy Tubbs' club, and you can hear Gary trying to get Billy Tubbs for just a moment, and we hope that we can get him. And at the moment, we've got Chew Kennedy, a man who had himself quite a night. Kennedy this evening with 22 points. And Gary, let's go to you.
All right, here we are with Darryl Kennedy. And Darryl, you had a big second half, held us 6 points in the first half, but you really came back and took the ball game, seemingly, in my opinion, in your own hands.
Well, I knew they were sagging on Wayman, and we wasn't really hitting it outside. So Coach told me to work inside and take it straight to the hoop.
You like to play with a guy like Wayman, don't you? He helps ease up on the defensive pressure on you personally.
Yeah, he helped keep me out of foul trouble because I know he's behind me. When I get beat, I know he can help behind me.
We're going to watch this play, see if you can remember back to what happened here. I think we're going to see a loose ball when Wayman goes up. You remember this one?
Yeah, the ball bounced loose, so I just caught it, took it straight up.
That's just great alert play right there.
Yeah, Coach always say I'm in the right spot. So the ball bounced loose, I always go pick it up and then see what I can do with it first. At first half, they was knocking everything out of my hands, so I started grabbing it and then hesitating a second, see if they was going to reach and then take it up.
What about the defense? I looked like Oklahoma. I can't remember you playing maybe in the first half a little 1-3-1, but you went to kind of it was more or less a soft 1-3-1 half court.
Yeah, he went to a 50Z. Smalls let him dribble it to the corner, then trap him in the corner, then play the man back out so they couldn't reverse the ball real well. So they had to throw it inside to the big man, see if he could pass the ball. Luckily, we came out with the victory, and our defense held up.
good basketball game and a great win for you in Oklahoma.
Thanks.
Thank you, Darryl. We'll be back with more wind-up on this Big 8 encounter as Oklahoma goes 3-0.
Last 3 games, he has scored 85 points.
Well, he has had a great run, and he really kept Oklahoma in the basketball game in the first part of the second half. He ran off 60, I think he had 22 points, 16 in the second half. When it got down to game time, they all did a great job of going to Tisdale. When the game was on the line, they went to him. He responded. He did a great job. Wayman did. When he didn't get the shot down, he went back up after it and stuck the rebound in. And I think that was the key as we wound down. Kennedy carrying the first part of the second half, and then Tisdale putting the game away.
And, of course, you don't point the finger at anyone. Iowa State played an excellent ball game. Here's a final, Nebraska over Colorado, 85-67. We do have that final score for you. Stevens, though, got cold in the last 7 or 8 minutes, and he is a streaky player, as you mentioned. But certainly this was a very, very fine victory tonight for the Sooners. They proved they're some kind of tough.
They did, and it's going to be tough to come into this place and go away with a win with Iowa State the way they're playing. And Oklahoma has got to be a leg up on all the other people coming away here tonight with a big win going, as I said, 3-0.
Kansas State 88-83 over Oklahoma State. So that brings you up on all the activity. For Gary Thompson, Jay Randolph. Reminding you to join us on Saturday afternoon at 2 Central Time when Gary and Wayne Stats will join you from Boulder, Colorado, as it's Kansas going up against Colorado in that one. Want to thank everybody on the Oklahoma and Iowa State staffs, and it's been a great pleasure being with you tonight. From Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa, a very pleasant good evening for all of us on the KAB crew.